In the far reaches of human-colonized space, where stars twinkled like distant fires, and the darkness stretched endlessly, a small team of human explorers drifted among the wreckage of forgotten ships. This was the Stargrave Belt, a place where old warships, cargo vessels, and experimental starcraft were left to rot when they no longer served a purpose. It was a graveyard, not of people, but of technology machines that had once carried hopes, dreams, and stories of triumph and failure. Among the twisted metal and drifting debris, Commander Elena Rivas guided her small shuttle with care. Her team had been searching this sector for weeks, following rumors of a unique find. Unlike most scavengers who sought materials to sell, Elena and her crew were driven by curiosity and the human need to discover. "Scanner readings are unusual," said Dr. Omar Patel, the team's lead engineer, his voice echoing softly through the shuttle's cabin. "I've never seen energy signatures like this coming from something so old. It's almost alive." Elena's eyes narrowed as she studied the readings. The object ahead was enormous. Half buried in a drifting asteroid cluster, a starship lay tilted on its side. Its hull was scarred and corroded, streaks of orange rust running like rivers across its surface. At first glance, it seemed like just another useless relic, but the energy readings suggested otherwise. Lieutenant Mara Chen, the team's communications expert, leaned closer to the monitor. "It's massive. Bigger than any human vessel we've seen in the belt. And it's humming. Not just any noise, a structured hum. Almost like it's waiting." Elena took a deep breath. "We proceed with caution. Let's find out what's really here." The shuttle docked carefully against a jagged edge of the hull, and the team suited up. Spacewalks were always dangerous, but this time there was a thrill in the air, an excitement humans often felt when standing on the edge of the unknown. As they floated toward the ship, they could see that its design was unlike anything humanity had built. The metal curves were elegant and organic, almost alive. The hull had patterns etched into it, like a language frozen in steel. Dr. Patel's fingers danced across his tablet as he scanned the surface. This isn't just alien technology. It's adaptive. Parts of the hull seem to have self-repair capabilities, though long dormant. And the energy core, it's still active, even after centuries. This is incredible. Inside the ship, the air was heavy with dust, yet the corridors held a strange sense of order. Lights flickered faintly, as if the vessel remembered the human's presence. Elena felt a shiver run down her spine. She had seen abandoned ships before, but none had this aura. It was almost like the starship had a memory, and it recognized them. The team moved deeper, carefully documenting everything. Panels that seemed fused to the walls responded when touched, displaying alien symbols that shifted and changed like living script. At first, the team could not understand them, but their curiosity drove them to experiment, pressing, twisting, and analyzing every surface. Hours passed. Slowly, a pattern emerged. Dr. Patel's face lit up. "I think I understand part of it. This ship wasn't just built to fly or fight. It was built to learn, to adapt. If we can interface with its systems, we might awaken its true potential." Elena raised an eyebrow. "Potential for what?" "For whatever the original creators intended," Omar replied. "Or for whatever we want to make it do. Humans are clever. If this ship can learn, it will learn from us. We can teach it to work with our technology, our strategies, our thinking." Mara tilted her head, skeptical. "You mean we're turning a rusted alien ship into a human ship?" Omar smiled. "Not just a ship, something more. Something extraordinary." They worked tirelessly, day after day, connecting their portable systems to the alien interface. At first, the ship resisted. Panels remained dark. Energy flowed in patterns that made no sense to human logic. And nothing seemed to respond. Frustration grew. Yet so did determination. One night, as Elena floated through the main corridor, she noticed something different. A soft pulse ran through the metal beneath her fingertips. The ship was alive, truly alive, and it was curious about them, just as they were about it. "Commander," Omar's voice called over the comm. I think it's responding." Lights along the corridor shimmered, not random flickers, but deliberate movements. Symbols rearranged themselves, forming sequences that seemed almost like a greeting. Elena felt a surge of awe. Humans had always thrived on challenge, on the unknown, and this moment was proof that their instincts, their creativity, could bridge the gap between species and technology. They spent the next days cautiously experimenting. Every new connection made, every system activated, brought the ship closer to life. Its energy core glowed brighter. Its engines hummed with potential, and the alien interface began to mirror human thought patterns. They laughed, cheered, and sometimes argued, but always returned to their goal, understanding and awakening the ancient vessel. The turning point came when Omar suggested something radical. "What if we don't just try to repair it? What if we teach it to be human?" Elena blinked. "Human? I mean," Omar continued, "we give it the ability to think like us, adapt like us. Not just follow commands, but anticipate, learn, and innovate. It's the ultimate human advantage, a starship that thinks like humanity. Imagine what it could do." Mara shook her head in disbelief, but even she could not deny the glimmering signs of life in the ship. Slowly, reluctantly, she agreed to help. The process was meticulous. They programmed, adjusted, tested, and recalibrated. The ship responded in ways that surprised them. Lights would shift to signal understanding, panels opened to reveal hidden compartments, tools, and systems they had not expected. Sometimes, when they made a mistake, the ship would correct it in subtle ways, guiding them toward the right solution. One evening, as the three humans gathered in the ship's main chamber, the energy core pulsed steadily. A soft, harmonious hum filled the room. Elena approached the control panel and laid her hand gently on it. A sequence of symbols appeared, forming a coherent pattern that they could finally recognize. It was not just language, it was an invitation. "It's awake," Elena whispered, awe in her voice. "It understands us. It's alive." Omar smiled, his eyes reflecting the pulsing light. "And we did it. Together, humanity has awakened something that was left to rust. Something the galaxy thought was worthless." Mara looked around, feeling a sense of pride and excitement. "And this is only the beginning. Who knows what it can become?" For the first time in centuries, the starship's engines roared to life. Not in violence, but in energy and potential. Lights flared along the hull, and the hum grew into a song of power and promise. It was a starship reborn, not by alien hands, but by the ingenuity, patience, and determination of humans. And as they floated there in the silent darkness of space, the three humans realized something profound. Humanity had taken the forgotten, the abandoned, and the seemingly worthless, and through intelligence, cooperation, and heart, turned it into a vessel of endless possibility. The Stargrave Belt was no longer just a graveyard. It was the birthplace of a new legend. One where humans proved that what others left to rust could be reforged into something extraordinary. Elena took one last look at the awakening ship. "Tomorrow," she said, "we begin teaching it everything humanity has. And who knows, maybe one day, it will show the galaxy what humans are truly capable of." As the team prepared to dock their shuttle for the night, the starship's glow illuminated the surrounding debris, casting shadows that danced like ancient memories. Left to rust, it had seemed worthless. But in human hands, it had been reborn, ready to change everything. The newly awakened starship floated gracefully in the orbital dock of humanity's largest research station, Solara Prime. Its hull glimmered under artificial sunlight, clean and polished now, but still carrying the elegant curves and mysterious etchings of its alien origin. For humans, it was no longer just a relic of the past, it had become a challenge, a puzzle to be solved, and a canvas for their ingenuity. Commander Elena Rivas led her team onto the station, her boots echoing on the metal floor. She paused to look at the starship, feeling a thrill that had nothing to do with danger. "This is not just a ship," she said softly. "It's a new chapter for humanity, and it's up to us to write it." Dr. Omar Patel adjusted his tools, a small smile playing on his lips. "I've never been more excited. The alien systems are incredible. Adaptive hulls, self-repairing circuits, energy conduits that we can barely understand. But with human innovation, this ship can become something extraordinary." Lieutenant Mara Chen studied the ship's interface. "We're going to have to teach it everything. Not just how to function, but how to think. Like us. That's going to take time." The team worked tirelessly, spending days recalibrating the alien systems. Every panel they touched, every code they deciphered, revealed something new. The ship was responsive, not merely programmed. It seemed to observe, adapt, and even anticipate their intentions. A metal arm would extend when needed. Tools would appear in compartments the moment they were required, and complex systems seemed to adjust themselves automatically. It was during these long days that the humans realized the full potential of the vessel. This was not just a starship built for speed or combat. It was versatile. It could analyze its environment, predict outcomes, and even assist its crew in ways that no human-engineered ship had ever done. Omar leaned over a glowing control panel. "If we integrate our navigation and energy systems with its adaptive core, we could create a ship that's faster, smarter, and more efficient than anything else in known space." Mara frowned. "Do you mean a weapon?" Omar shook his head. "Not in the usual sense. A weapon doesn't need to destroy. Intelligence is the ultimate advantage. If the ship can outthink, outmaneuver, and outlast others, that is a kind of power humans have never wielded before." Elena nodded. "It's true. Other civilizations rely on strength, on numbers, on destruction. We rely on creativity, patience, and problem-solving. That is our strength. And this ship will show it." The next phase of their work was to integrate human systems with alien ones. This required trial and error, often resulting in frustration. The ship was sensitive. Too much force or haste could trigger shutdowns, forcing the team to restart from scratch. Yet, every failure taught them something. One day, while attempting to reroute the ship's power through a human-designed reactor, the main console pulsed unexpectedly. Panels retracted, revealing tools and diagnostic systems that the team had never noticed. A gentle hum filled the hangar. Omar stared at the screen. "It's helping us. It knows what we need before we ask. The ship is learning faster than we expected." Mara smiled, a spark of pride in her eyes. "It's like it's becoming part of us, part of humanity." The team began running simulations. First, they tested the ship's ability to repair itself. A small panel was damaged deliberately. Almost instantly, the starship's tools sprang to life, welding and recalibrating with precision. The repair was faster and more accurate than any human engineer could achieve alone. Next, they tested its adaptability in space. Obstacles were introduced in the simulation. Debris fields, fluctuating gravity wells, and simulated energy storms. The starship reacted fluidly, adjusting its course, activating shields, and conserving energy in ways the humans had not programmed. It was thinking. It was learning. Elena watched the simulations with awe. "This is more than a starship," she said. "It's a partner. And partners grow stronger with time, with knowledge, and with trust." The humans began teaching the ship to understand human concepts. Teamwork, strategy, improvisation, even humor and curiosity. Little by little, they introduced the elements of human thought. The ship responded with subtle gestures. A soft glow to signal understanding, a light vibration in the control panels, patterns of symbols that reflected what it had learned. Mara was the first to notice a real sign of intelligence. While testing a new navigation sequence, the ship created a shortcut through a simulated asteroid field. A path the humans had never considered. "It's thinking ahead," she whispered. "It's learning how to solve problems. not just follow instructions. Omar laughed quietly. Exactly. We've taken a relic of the past and turned it into something that represents humanity's future. And it's doing it itself, with a little guidance from us. As the weeks passed, the team's bond with the Starship grew. They no longer referred to it as the alien ship. It had a presence, a personality that reflected the humans' patience, creativity, and ambition. It learned from their successes, their mistakes, even from the way they communicated with one another. Elena stood in the observation deck, watching the ship glide through a test trajectory. We need to push it further. If it's going to be the ultimate human advantage, it has to surpass expectations. Let's see what else it can do. The next experiments involved versatility. The team tested its ability to analyze unknown planets, detect resources, and manage energy distribution across multiple systems simultaneously. The ship excelled in every trial, often suggesting optimizations that the humans had not anticipated. One day, a challenge was introduced. A complex network of space anomalies designed to confuse and disorient the ship. Sensors flickered, gravitational waves shifted unpredictably, and electromagnetic storms threatened to disable the systems. Elena and Omar watched tensely. The ship paused for a moment, lights pulsing rhythmically, as if considering its options. Then, it began to maneuver with precision, anticipating the changes in the anomalies and finding stable paths where none seemed to exist. Mara clapped softly. It's brilliant. It's thinking in ways we never taught it. Omar nodded. And that's exactly what makes it the ultimate tool. It's not limited by our imagination, it can exceed it. That's the human advantage. We give it the spark, it expands it, and together, we achieve what others can only dream of. But human innovation did not stop at learning and adaptation. The team began to experiment with combining human energy technology with the ship's alien systems. They created hybrid engines that were faster, more efficient, and capable of longer journeys. Shields became adaptive, responding dynamically to environmental conditions. Communication systems could interpret and translate alien languages, bridging the gap between civilizations. The Starship, once abandoned and deemed worthless, was becoming the ultimate testament to human ingenuity. Every panel, every wire, every glowing core reflected the human's determination, patience, and creativity. It was not a weapon in the traditional sense, it was a demonstration of what humans could do when they refused to give up, when they worked together, and when they dared to imagine the impossible. One quiet night, as the team gathered in the main chamber to review progress, the ship's core pulsed softly, illuminating the room. Elena smiled, feeling a surge of pride. We've taken a vessel left to rust, forgotten by the galaxy, and we've turned it into a partner that reflects humanity itself. The universe won't know what hit it, not with force, but with brilliance. Mara added, It's not just ours. It belongs to every human who believes that nothing is truly useless if we can see potential where others cannot. Omar placed a hand on the console, feeling the soft vibrations beneath his fingers. And this is just the beginning. Once we fully integrate human intelligence with its systems, there will be no limit to what it can do. Elena looked out the observation window at the endless stars. Tomorrow, we take the next step. We show the galaxy that humans can take what is abandoned, what is forgotten, and turn it into the ultimate expression of ingenuity, and they will see that humanity is unlike anything they have ever faced. The Starship's lights shimmered, reflecting the anticipation of the humans who had breathed life back into it. Left to rust, it had been forgotten. But reforged by human hands, it had become more than a vessel. It had become a symbol of hope, intelligence, and limitless potential. As the team left the chamber, a soft hum filled the station. It was the sound of promise, of possibility, and of a future where humanity's brilliance would shine across the stars. And in the silence of the orbital dock, the Starship waited, learning, adapting, ready for the moment it would prove to the universe that what humans touch, even forgotten relics, could become extraordinary. The human orbital station hummed with activity. Scientists, engineers, and diplomats moved quickly through the corridors, preparing for the event that would mark a turning point for humanity. The Starship, once abandoned and left to rust, now gleamed in the central dock, its alien curves polished and enhanced with human innovation. It was no longer a forgotten relic. It was a symbol of human ingenuity, a vessel that reflected the creativity, patience, and adaptability that defined their species. Commander Elena Rivas stood on the observation deck, overlooking the Starship. "Today," she said softly, "the galaxy will see what humanity can achieve, not with destruction, but with intelligence and unity." Dr. Omar Patel adjusted his tablet nervously. "I've run the simulations hundreds of times. The ship is ready. It's not just powerful, it's adaptive, smarter than any other vessel out there. And it can operate in ways no one expects." Lieutenant Mara Chen joined them, a smile lighting her face. "They won't know what hit them. And they'll see it's not about aggression, it's about brilliance. That's the ultimate weapon." The galaxy had been watching humanity with curiosity and, in some cases, skepticism. Other civilizations had long dismissed humans as primitive, reckless, or unprepared for interstellar challenges. But this demonstration would change everything. The Starship's systems hummed in response to the team's presence, lights pulsing rhythmically along the hull. It had learned from them, grown with them, and adapted to their strategies. It could anticipate, solve problems, and optimize outcomes, all hallmarks of human ingenuity. The demonstration began with a series of complex tasks. The ship navigated a dense asteroid field, shifting its course seamlessly as obstacles appeared in unpredictable patterns. Sensors calculated gravitational anomalies, energy fluctuations, and potential hazards, adjusting the ship's trajectory with perfect timing. Human engineers watched in awe as the ship executed maneuvers they had only imagined in simulations. "It's beautiful," whispered Elena. "Not because of power, but because of intelligence." Next, the Starship demonstrated its ability to assist in construction and repair. Using modular arms and adaptive tools, it assembled a floating space station module, with precision far exceeding any human or alien crew. It analyzed each step, optimized the process, and completed the task with flawless efficiency. Engineers took notes, impressed by the way the ship seemed to learn and improve in real time. Mara tapped her console, smiling. "It's teaching us, not just helping. Every action it takes shows us better ways to do things. It's like having a partner that never tires, never forgets, and never loses focus." The final test was the most ambitious. The ship was to navigate through a simulated galaxy-wide scenario, managing multiple systems at once: energy distribution, communications with other stations, and resource allocation. Anomalies were introduced: unexpected solar flares, magnetic storms, and unpredictable traffic from simulated alien vessels. The humans held their breath. Lights along the hull pulsed rapidly as the ship analyzed the data. Then, it began to act, preemptively adjusting shields, rerouting energy, and sending signals to avoid collisions. Every decision it made was precise, efficient, and most importantly, creative. Omar couldn't help but smile. "It's thinking in ways we never even imagined. That's the difference. It's human intelligence, amplified." The alien observers, watching from distant stations and ships, were stunned. They had underestimated humans for centuries, judging them by appearances, culture, and past mistakes. But here was a species that could take a forgotten, rusted starship and turn it into the ultimate showcase of innovation, adaptability, and foresight. One of the alien diplomats spoke through the universal translator. "We did not expect this. Your species has exceeded our calculations. This vessel, it is unlike anything we have seen." Elena smiled, calm and confident. "It is not just the vessel. It is what humans can do when we refuse to give up, when we work together, and when we use intelligence instead of force. That is the advantage of humanity." The Starship completed its demonstration flawlessly, Lights flared along its hull, energy streams shimmered like ribbons in space, and it maneuvered with elegance and precision. It had become more than a ship. It was a symbol of what humanity could accomplish. After the demonstration, the human team gathered in the observation chamber. There was a sense of pride and excitement in the air. A quiet celebration of creativity, intelligence, and unity. Mara looked at the Starship, still glowing softly in the dock. It's incredible. Not just for what it can do, but for what it represents. Humanity can take what is abandoned, what others consider useless, and turn it into something extraordinary. Omar nodded. And it doesn't stop here. With this ship, we can explore, learn, and create solutions to challenges the galaxy thought were impossible. We don't need to fight to prove ourselves. We can shine through intelligence and innovation. Elena placed a hand on the control panel, feeling the hum of energy beneath her fingertips. This is just the beginning. One demonstration can change minds, but sustained action will change the galaxy's perception of humans. They will know that we are not just another species. They will know that we are problem solvers, creators, and innovators. In the following days, humans used the Starship for exploration missions, scientific research, and humanitarian aid. It mapped uncharted systems, delivered supplies to remote colonies, and assisted alien civilizations in solving technical problems. Wherever it went, it left a trail of admiration and respect. Alien leaders began to request meetings, curious about this human ingenuity. They asked questions, observed, and sometimes even collaborated. Humanity no longer had to fight to prove itself. It had won through creativity, intelligence, and the unique ability to see potential where others saw only decay. One day, as the Starship returned from a deep space mission, Elena reflected on the journey. From the rusted wreck in the Stargrave Belt to the pinnacle of human innovation, it had been a path of patience, learning, and teamwork. The galaxy had once doubted humans. But now, the ship was a living testament to their capability. Mara joined her at the observation deck. "Who would have thought that an abandoned ship could change everything?" she said. Elena smiled. "Humans always see possibilities where others see endings. That's who we are. That's what makes us extraordinary." Omar appeared behind them, a tablet in hand. "The data from the latest missions is incredible. The ship is still learning, adapting. Every day, it becomes smarter, more capable, and it's teaching us in the process." Elena looked out at the stars, feeling a sense of quiet triumph. The galaxy has finally begun to understand what we always knew. Humanity doesn't need brute force to be powerful. Our strength lies in curiosity, intelligence, and the courage to try the impossible. The Starship pulsed softly beneath them, as if acknowledging her words. It had been left to rust, forgotten by history. Yet through human hands, it had become the ultimate testament to possibility and innovation. And in the silent vastness of space, where other civilizations once looked down on humans with doubt, the Starship now represented hope, creativity, and the boundless potential of a species that refused to accept limits. Elena, Mara, and Omar watched as the vessel prepared for another journey, ready to explore, assist, and inspire. The humans had taken what was worthless and forged it into a symbol of brilliance. The galaxy would remember this day not as a moment of war, but as a moment of human triumph. A single, once-forgotten Starship had become the ultimate showcase of what humanity could achieve when curiosity, creativity, and determination were combined. And the humans, standing together, knew that this was only the beginning. The universe was vast, full of unknown challenges and endless possibilities. But they were ready. With their ingenuity, their patience, and the Starship by their side, there was nothing they could not accomplish. The Starship's lights shimmered against the darkness of space, a beacon of hope and proof that humanity, even in the face of neglect and doubt, could create something extraordinary. Left to rust, it had been worthless. Reforged by human hands, it had become the ultimate vessel. Not a weapon of destruction, but a weapon of intelligence, innovation, and inspiration. And in that moment, the galaxy began to see humans not as a species to underestimate, but as a force of brilliance, capable of turning even the forgotten into the extraordinary.